All this, I'm joined by Zhao Hai. He's an assistant research fellow at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Welcome to the program, Professor.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Good morning to you. So let's start with these 8 Pacific nations that Wang Yi is visiting. Mostly regarded as exotic island holiday destinations. Could you start by talking about the strategic importance of these island nations, especially for China?
Well, actually, in recent years, the mutual relations developed very quickly between China and those island countries because China's market is growing and China needs resources. And those nations on the Pacific Islands needed investment, needed trade with outside world. And for a very long period of time, their poverty levels has remained steady and their education levels and also social welfare is not well developed. So in this respect, I think two sides needed each other, and in this particular time, China is willing to extend more help in infrastructure, in disaster relief, and also in security matters to help those countries. So I think this is the right moment.
And of course, we heard that Wang Yi's first stop was the Solomon Islands. Both countries recently, also as we heard in the report, signed a security pact. How's that being viewed in the region, especially by Australia?
Well, I think Australia is disturbed, of course, but foundless. I think they have always exaggerated China's or misrepresented China's strategic intentions. China has said repeatedly that this security agreement is because of social unrest that happened last year, and China needs to protect its interests, its people and property on the islands. So this is a very normal bilateral agreement. However, Australia and also the United States are thinking from strategic or geopolitical zero-sum mentality. And from that point, they always suspect that there's some secrecy or some strategic intentions on China to pose a threat to Australia's interests and also trying to drive Australian influence out of that region. However, I think both the island people and also China insist that this is not backyard of Australia or other countries. These are independent sovereign countries, and they need to make whatever agreement they want to with other countries.
And Zhao Hai, there are also reports of a broader regional security deal between China and partners in the South Pacific that could be discussed next week. What are the implications of this?
Well, these are sort of still in development, and other countries are saying and viewing the development between Solomon Islands and China and also the content of the agreement. They may have different needs, and China may develop different kind of agreement with those countries. These are all very normal sort of bilateral developments that covered under the bilateral relations between China and those island countries. China is aware of the regional security situation, and again, China does not pose a military base in those regions and will not do that in the foreseeable future. China only wants to help to stabilize and have a normal trade relationship to secure the future of prosperity of those countries.
Right, and of course one of the most pressing issues for these smaller nations are the impacts of climate change, rising waters, the depletion of marine life. How might this be addressed through cooperation with China?
Well, there are a number of ways that can be addressed. Number one is, of course, the humanitarian aid and disaster relief. Because of recent years, rising temperature, climate change, those islands are under threat of severe climate incidents. So in that respect, China can provide equipment, training, and also assistance to those countries. Recently, what happened in Tonga is a case that China can, even with long distance, provide timely assistance to those countries. Secondly, China, of course, can provide green technology and also help in those deployment of those technology, including infrastructure to those countries to help reduce the carbon in those regions. And thirdly, China is playing a leading role together with the United States and other countries in the Paris Accord. And in the future, I think those island countries will support and participate and also work with China on reducing carbon footprint globally.